Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, the podcast where Matt and Todd go see a movie at our local Regal Cinema, and then we sit in the parking lot, we talk about it. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Can we endorse you seeing this movie in the theaters? Can we not? Sometimes little life updates. You know, you never know what you're going to get. It's a mixed bag. I am Todd Domer.
And I'm Matt Malloy, and yes, welcome to another podcast where we are going to tell you what we think. Tonight's movie that we're going to be discussing is called Licorice Pizza. I'll get into later my problems with that name, but I will say that I do favor the correct pronunciation, which not many people do, of the word licorice. It's licorice.
That's good to know. I've never cared.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll join you on your vendetta.
Wow.
Licorice. Right?
Licorice pizza.
Not licorice.
Not licorice.
Licorice.
That's how everyone says it, but everyone's wrong.
So now when someone says they like black licorice, we can correct them on
You're
liking a crappy form of licorice, and they're not pronouncing it right.
That's one option, Todd. But the other option is you can silently judge them and laugh at them later.
Both are good.
Licorice.
Good scenarios. Or
Well.
laugh double at them later for what they like and how they pronounce it.
True. Well, anyway, this movie is called Licorice Pizza, and it stars Philip Seymour Hoffman's son,
Cooper Hoffman.
Cooper Hoffman. Alana Haim is in it.
I don't know her from anything, but apparently her whole family's in it.
Her whole family is in it. I feel like I've seen her maybe somewhere before, but that could be wrong. Sean Penn is in this movie for about 5 minutes. Yep. Bradley Cooper, about the same.
Yep.
And who else? There was someone else.
Maya Rudolph is in it for 5 minutes.
Tom Waits.
Oh, Tom Watts?
Watts.
Is it Watts or Waits?
I think it's Watts. I think you're right. Well, anyway, those people are in it. They're not major players in it. The main players are Cooper Hoffman and Alana Haim.
Yeah.
So, anyone else that we should mention?
No.
Notables, quotables?
Not that I can really determine here.
Okay.
Although, it is kind of spelled like Tom Waits.
It is. But I think it's Tom Watts. I think you're right.
Oh, he's one of those people.
We could be wrong.
Oh.
Maybe he's not famous enough for me to know how to say his name.
What was I looking up? Oh, yeah. Whether or not she's been in anything else.
Yeah. Alana Haim down low, provided by Todd. Todd?
So far, nothing that I know about.
Okay. Well,
there's only one thing that she's been in that I don't recognize her from, but I've definitely seen it, is the Lonely Island's production of the Bash Brothers.
Okay.
Which is incredibly funny for anyone who hasn't seen it, and you should. But otherwise, she's got a ton of credits, but I don't recognize any of this stuff.
Is that about Jose Canseco and...
Yes,
okay.
Mark McGuire.
Yes, got it.
Gossip Girl? Are you a Gossip Girl person?
I'm not that.
Okay.
No. But...
Oh, she was in Trolls World Tour. Is that where you know her from?
I think we missed that. I think we never reviewed Trolls World Tour, unfortunately, for us. Well, anyway, all right.
Apparently she was on The Voice.
So we'll go with she's not really famous, but maybe this is her breakthrough for performance.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
Okay, so what's this movie about? Well, this movie is about a character, Gary Valentine, played by Cooper Hoffman.
Coop.
And Alana something, played by Alana Haim.
Yeah.
Her name's Alana.
I can't remember what her last name is.
I don't remember what her last name is in the movie. But anyway, they have an unlikely kind of pairing relationship throughout the movie. They have a 10-year age gap, and he's 15. and she's 25. So rather than her being 5, I guess. So you just kind of get it's one of these movies where you just kind of roll along and life happens and quirkiness happens. Like, he's a child actor and he meets her when she comes to his school, and she's like an assistant at the photo people who are taking the yearbook
pictures, yeah.
photos, the school pictures, right. And they just follow each other kind of through this life of different jobs and different things going on in their lives. And I don't know how long the movie's supposed to cover, maybe a couple years.
Well, yeah, it gets super hard to tell how much time has passed.
Yeah. They never say any other ages except for 15 and 25, but
yeah. He also never goes back to school except for the first 10 minutes of the movie.
That's true.
So,
but anyway, it's sort of, there's this tension between them throughout the movie, and it's really about their relationship. And lots of weird stuff happens.
With also lots of kooky characters.
These cameos by all the stars that we mentioned, they all play kind of gonzo, over the top.
Oh,
characters.
And a surprise cameo for just one hot second of John C. Reilly, who's been in almost every Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
There you go. You got there.
He was Eddie Munster when they were walking through the expo.
Thank you for noticing that.
Oh, I honed right in.
Good. Well, that's kind of the plot without revealing what happens at the end of the movie. Todd, your thoughts on Licorice Pizza?
So, I think this movie falls pretty much in line with almost every Paul Thomas Anderson, whatever his 3 names are.
Name another Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Boogie Nights.
Okay.
Magnolia, which we saw.
Right.
And I feel like this one mirrors Magnolia a lot more than it mirrors Boogie Nights. Mm-hmm. In the sense of, and I feel like...
There's a lot less nudity.
Yes. But also in the sense of a movie that has just pretty good acting, I would say almost great acting, with really great character work, but just a dumb story that is really hard to stay in it, at least in my opinion. And that kind of falls in line with how I feel about this movie tonight. I felt like the acting was very good across the board. There wasn't anyone who I was like, "Ooh, I don't know about that." But and I feel like everyone had a chance. I think what I like about these movies from Paul or Thomas or whatever his name is, I'm just gonna say Paul for the rest of the time, is that I feel like everyone gets a chance to really, even minor characters have a chance to really flush out who their character is and really swing for the fences as far as like, you know, how they're going to portray this character, what they're going to do. I don't know if he's like super hands-on or if he lets the actors kind of just play with it. Whatever he does, I always like his character work. Like I thought in Magnolia, Tom Cruise's character was fascinating to me. And, you know, I like Boogie Nights. I thought Mark Wahlberg's character was fascinating to me, along with other characters. I'm just highlighting those two. Mm-hmm. So that's the exceptionally good thing that these movies do. You get these characters, sometimes they're kooky, sometimes they're not, but I feel like there's always something special about them in these movies. But man, this story is all over the place. It's a super long movie. It's like 2 hours and some good amount of change, maybe a 2:20 kind of movie, and there is definitely several parts where I was like, where are we going with all this? Like, the story's not tight. It's intriguing at times, but then it loses, for me, it lost its intrigue several times, and it would slightly pick it back up with some really great character work, And then I'd lose it again because I'm like, what is, like, I don't know what's happening anymore. I can't tell the time. I don't know how much time has passed between the start of the movie and now, as far as like where the characters are in time. Like, the whole basis of this movie is that this 25-year-old girl meets a 15-year-old boy, and it's their budding, friendship that kind of goes to will they, won't they kind of stuff. But like after the first, like I said, the 10 minutes, he's never back in school, and the character is almost like too far to really truly understand, because he's a 15-year-old child actor who apparently can start his own business, and then the business can go under, and he'll start another business, and his mom works for him, and they own a company that's like what was that company?
Like a PR company.
PR company.
But then she disappears.
And
from
then
the scene.
she disappears from the movie.
She's never seen again.
And he's home alone all the time with his brother. Like, I think these movies and Paul is really bad about the finite details. Like, it's more like these lofty, kooky characters that actors can really chew scenery and really, go. But then it's like, when it's all said and done, you look back and it's like, well, what was that story? Like, I don't really know. Like, how did all this really happen? It just gets too far out there for me. Like, I thought Bradley Cooper's character was incredibly funny and great, but 5 minutes and then he's gone. Like, and it's like never talked about again, never referenced. So I just think the inconsistencies with the story for these movies is what really brings down these movies from old Paul for me. So I'm trying to like give the credit where credit's due. It starts as a very interesting story. I definitely was very engaged when the movie started, but it just like with not being able to tell the pacing of the movie, and like I don't like the idea that all aspects of life get put on hold for us to tell this specific aspect of life, because then it's like, well, all life bleeds into the other parts of your life. And I just can't, I can't get behind it. So I loved watching people work with their characters and flesh out characters and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's just the freedom. Like, I always loved that aspect. And that's what it kind of felt like this movie kind of evolved into, was I was waiting for the next like kooky character to show up and steal the spotlight from the main story, and then they would disappear within 5 minutes. Like, and then we're back to this kind of very boring story to me that is hard to follow and filled with many, many unrealistic things. So, I mean, that's where I'm going to be at. I'm going to have a hard time actually rating this movie, like, because the stuff that I like about it and the stuff that I don't like about it are like really in my mind battling it out right now.
Yeah.
So that's me. Matt, how did you feel about this movie?
Well, similar feelings, similar thoughts. I was really engaged at the beginning. By the end, I was kind of tired.
Yeah.
I was tired of the story. I was tired of this tension between these two characters throughout the movie. Although they built the tension so well. But then by the end, I was just tired. I was like, come on. How long can you draw out this will they, won't they? And I guess...
Yeah, it reminded me of Friends with Rachel and Ross. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't really like that show, but when I was watching it when it first came out, like, I was so done with that aspect because they really hammered it into the ground over several seasons.
Right.
That's what this movie felt like, is that for a 2 hour and 20-something minute movie, 2 hours of it was will they, won't they? Ooh,
right.
We made progression, oh, we regressed. We made progression, oh, we regressed. And I was like, ugh, I'm tired. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. So, yes, I liked the kooky characters too. What I didn't like was the fact that there's no licorice in this movie, nor is there any pizza.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of opportunity where they could have
definitely tons of
put either one of them in there.
At either of his store openings, he could have just had pizza and licorice.
Right. And there's none. And why did you call this movie that? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Hopefully Paul's listening.
Yeah. Please call us.
Yeah. Or drop it on Facebook.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Either way. Interact. It's good. So overall, I was kind of meh about this movie. Yeah, there's good acting. Yeah, there's interesting characters.
Right.
Yeah, it's a long movie. Meh.
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna end up is meh.
Yeah.
You don't need to see this in the theater.
No.
Easily.
Nor do I think you really can at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
it came out weeks and weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. You can watch it. Just watch it. Like stream it on your phone. That's fine.
On your phone. It doesn't even deserve a bigger TV. Your phone's good enough to capture what happens.
You don't need it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was, it's just, yeah. Disappointing. But also, like, I don't know. Just disappointing. I don't know if there's more to that or not. Anywho, how many waterbeds would you give this movie out of 5? 5 being the best, because then you have 5 waterbeds, and
5 waterbeds is a
plenty,
lot.
Plenty of people can sleep in the waterbeds and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
0 waterbeds is just bad, because then not only do you not have a waterbed, you might not have a bed. Period. I don't know what your bed options are, but if you take the waterbed out of it, maybe you put yourself in a situation where you only could have a waterbed, and then you don't have one, and that's a 0.
So complex. So complex. I'm going to go with 2.4 waterbeds. I'm going to go that there's good parts, there are bad parts. They basically balance out. And the tiebreaker is this movie was too long and didn't know what it was doing a lot of the time. So 2.4 waterbeds out of 5, slightly below average. Not a terrible movie, but not good either. So that's what you get from me. 2.4.
I'm not too far off. I'm at a 2.
Okay.
For mine. And the shame of it is really, I think if you cut 40, I feel like we say this all the time at this point.
We do.
If you cut 45 minutes out of this movie, it would be tighter and better.
Yes.
And I don't know. Maybe Paul would say it's not all about the story. It's the character work. To which I would say, well, you probably know better than I do.
Cut some characters out of it then.
Yeah,
cut some characters. Don't have Sean Penn jump over a flaming thing on a golf course on a motorcycle.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That wasn't necessary.
Because it was just like and I guess this is why it really beat us down there in this movie, is that every guest kooky character that was introduced, they were introduced so that more drama between the two main characters would also be introduced. So it didn't really serve a purpose besides furthering the plot that we already didn't care about.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm a 2. Don't see this movie in theaters. It's totally not worth it. From everything I've heard, it's getting plenty of like Oscar buzz and stuff, and I'm like, I mean, I guess maybe like for some of the performances, but if this one's like best story or something, I just have lost hope in everything.
What would you give Best Picture to at this point?
Best Picture.
Yeah.
Wow, that's rough. Wait, are we talking? Well, this movie came out before January, so
Yeah.
So any movie we've seen over the last year before January.
Right.
That's a tough one.
And I put you on the spot.
You did. I mean, honestly, this is the first year that I think I could really, really say this confidently, is that I do think Spider-Man No Way Home should be in the running for Best Picture. Like, as far as like what they were able to accomplish, the acting involved was very good. Sure, the story was a little bloated at times because they had so much going on, but I think this is the first time that I can confidently say, if that movie is not in Best Picture, then they just overlook these movies for no good reason. Mm-hmm. I also can't remember a lot of the movies that we've seen over the last year, so...
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
I actually agree with you that I think Spider-Man is the best movie that we saw this year.
Yeah.
I will say I did like Encanto. a lot.
That was true. I do also really like Encanto.
I don't think that either one of those is actually going to win Best Picture, but
No.
I think they should both be in the running, and I would pick Spider-Man personally.
Yeah. Honestly, unless there's like some golden nugget that we're just forgetting about.
I think there's a little bit of buzz around House of Gucci. I think
yeah, that did get
that might creep into the running there. I don't agree with that, but
No.
I think that
for best
might be
picture, absolutely not. Like maybe some of the acting, like best whatever. I'm sure Lady Gaga is gonna get nominated for best actress or best supporting actress, whatever. I don't know how that dynamic works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of the high-rated movies that I can remember us rating at this point were from the Rocky franchise.
Right.
I'm like, well, they're not going to be up for it.
I think we rated Dune okay, and I think we rated the Bond movie okay.
Oh, that's true. I did really like Bond. I'm not sure if either of those I'd put in Best Picture, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Bond. I think I liked Bond more than I liked Dune. I liked Bond a lot. Because I think they went places that they haven't gone before for a Bond movie.
Yes.
And I thought they knocked it out of the park when they went that way. So, if that were to be nominated, I'd be like, good. If it were to win over like Encanto or Spider-Man, if those were nominated, I'd be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, I hope you enjoyed this derailing of our review of Licorice Pizza.
I do think that when they release who's nominated, we should do a podcast just going over who's nominated for what and saying how much we either disagree with that or how much we're like, yeah, spot on, Academy.
Fair. So stay tuned, loyal listeners. Maybe you'll get an Oscar roundup this year from us.
Whether or not you care about that is completely up to you.
Oh, they care, Todd. They're listening.
That's true. If you're listening to this, I feel like you can listen through a Academy Award nomination.
Yeah.
Opinions, I guess.
Or you can skip that one if you really hate it. But
no, we don't support.
Anyway,
that. You listen to them all. We're putting them out. You listen to them.
Let's wrap up this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, which has gone off the rails. We reviewed Licorice Pizza. There's no licorice, there's no pizza, but we gave it an average rating of 2.2 waterbeds out of 5, and that is meh. Yeah. Not great. Below average. Skip the theater. Watch it on your phone. Whatever you do. But yeah, thanks for listening anyway. Thanks for listening to our long diatribe and many
That's going to be my new insult for movies. See this movie on your phone. That's how good it is.
Yes. Well, some people do that.
Man.
But yeah, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
Da 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 da.